Hey guys, it's Shadow. This is a follow-up to my Pre-Mill Drush flush build order. We are focusing on the 6 civs which have the easiest time executing the Pre-Mill Drush part of the build. Of course, this is my own opinion though, so take it with a grain of salt. There are 3 major ways in which a Pre-Mill Drush flush build order can be made easier in my opinion. Having a wood bonus, in particular one that saves wood, having a food bonus, in particular one that helps before boars come in, or having a gold bonus, which saves you collecting the 10 gold. In my opinion, the wood and food bonuses are significantly more important than having a gold bonus, but not having to collect the gold for civs such as Aztecs, Portuguese and Goths is still a good boost in terms of completing the build efficiently. I want to start off with a number of honourable mentions. Tatars have an amazing transition into the feudal part of this build due to the extra food in their sheep and extra 2 sheep once they reach the feudal age. This is much more forgiving than if you are lame than with other civs. This bonus doesn't really help with getting the Pre-Mill Drush going itself, but it is really nice for the remainder of the build. Italians having cheaper age ups makes them similarly more forgiving than other civs doing a Drush flush, and have a really smooth time getting to castle age on the back end of this build. Similarly to the Tatars, this doesn't help with the Pre-Mill Drush itself, but still makes them a really good Drush flush civ in my opinion. Aztecs, Portuguese and Goths all do not need to collect the 10 gold, which makes the build a little bit cleaner. Goths also go up 1 villager later at the same time as other civs due to Loom being an almost instant research, which is good for the economy but can be a slight oversight when completing this build for less experienced players. Celts with the faster woodcutting makes it so this build is less tight overall, but I did not find this makes a significant difference until the latest stages of a Drush flush build order. Mongols were surprisingly good at this build, not just due to the hunting bonus but also due to the scouting bonus. The food comes in much more quickly than normal, and being able to scout for your resources and your opponent more quickly on this build is pretty strong. However, these 6 civs really stand out as making a Pre-Mill Drush easier. Starting with number 6 I have the Indians. They may not seem like an obvious pick for a Pre-Mill Drush, but the food saved by having cheaper villagers really starts to add up. This is because it starts from the beginning of the game and it makes getting the militia out a tad easier. By the time you've got the barracks up, you will have saved the food needed for 1 militia already. Not to mention that the rest of this build is still incredibly smooth sailing after doing the Drush. Saving the equivalent of 100 food or more over the course of Dark Age is nothing to sneeze at. Malians are my pick for number 5. Their wood saving bonus makes it so you only need 3 on wood initially, which means an additional villager can go to food after luring the boar. I still add an extra vill to wood in the later stages of this build, but this means that getting the barracks down at first is easier, and then your food economy is also more solid. Not to mention the fact that Malians have an incredible rest of this build due to the same wood saving bonus and free gold mining upgrade in feudal age. Next at number 4 I've put the Persians. They start with an extra 50 food and 50 wood, making placing the barracks and training militia a little bit easier. Having bonuses for both wood and food makes them well suited for beginners of this build order. As a result of these bonuses, I found that completing the rest of the Drush flush build order to be relatively easy afterwards too. For number 3 I have Japanese. Similar to Malians, their wood saving bonus is extremely strong. However, I believe Japanese have a slight edge. Their build is similarly smooth to Persians, but their wood saving bonus is stronger for the rest of this build, and being able to place a mill more cheaply makes it so the pre-mill part of this drush doesn't last too long. This is all done whilst getting the militia out at the same time as the other civs. Also, Japanese get solid archers for the rest of the game after this point, making this build ideal for them. Britons are number 2. Despite not getting any additional resources or saving any resources, the sheep bonus is just that big that Britons have an extremely smooth build order for a Pre-Mill Drush. They're able to send a villager to wood 1 vill sooner, making it so they're able to get the barracks up a little bit sooner, and the food economy is super solid behind this. A feudal age archer follow up after this is also super strong with the Britons due to their ranges producing faster. And last but not least, I have the Lithuanians as the best Pre-Mill Drush civ. Note that I am not talking about the instant drush, although this in and of itself is a fun version of a Pre-Mill Drush, but a relatively standard Pre-Mill Drush. Starting with the extra 150 food makes it so you can send one villager to wood sooner than other civs doing the same build order, similar to Britain's. And an important thing to note is that this is extra food, so unlike civs like Britons or Mongols, they will be up in terms of food by the end of the build too. This makes it so getting the barracks up is easier, they do not need to worry about force dropping off food quite as much, and the 150 food is essentially 2.5 militia for free. This also means during Feudal Age they are more able to add skirmishers or scouts if needed due to the extra food. On the build order that I was doing, Lithuanians are also able to get one villager sooner quite comfortably. All of these factors combined make them my favourite civ for doing a Pre-Mill Drush build order of any description. Let me know in the comments section below if you agree with these picks for the easiest Pre-Mill Drush civs. Please note with a couple of the civs on this list I do make slight adaptations to the build for efficiency. The most prominent ones are throwing wood with Malians, Persians and Japanese initially, and sending a fourth to wood a little later due to their wood saving bonus and extra wood at the start in case of the Persians. 5 on food for Britons and Lithuanians at the start due to having significant Dark Age food economy bonuses. All of these civs have a significantly easier time executing a Pre-Mill Drush, which can be ideal when learning how to do it in the first place. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please be sure to leave a like on the video as it helps out the channel. Thanks for watching.